Look at this account form. Okay? So I have a date column, I have an item column, which, by the way, until May, we'll never write anything in. I have something called a post-ref. It's a post-reference number. That's what we're going to start doing today in Chapter 4, is what's called posting. I have debit column, credit column, and then it's kind of repeated, but it says balance. This account form is going to be used to help us keep track of a current balance in any one of these. All right? So as I look at the next page in your workbook, looks like yours, the post-ref column is filled out in my answer key, but I want you to look at this general journal, and that's on your next page, page 59, or you can look here, it doesn't matter. So you're my accountant, and I'm the owner, and I come in and I say, hey, Gabby, what's my balance of cash? You know, I don't know. But is that not a legit question? How much cash do I have? I don't know. I recorded some transactions. I don't know. But isn't that a legit question? What's the balance of my cash? How much? What's the value of the supplies? Or most importantly, what any manager, CEO, boss, whatever is going to say, what's my sales to date? How much have we sold? Because it matters a lot. It matters a lot. When my husband was in the grocery business, I don't know, on a Saturday night in the holiday season, he would call cash accounting, was the people, hey, what were sales for the weekend? What were sales for the weekend? Because it's a big deal. Looking at this, how would I know? So we're going to do what's called post, because it seems like more busy work, and we like busy work in accounting. Not really. We're going to do what's called post. And in the real world, in an accounting software program, you click a magic button that says post, and everything goes where it's supposed to go, and you could tell your boss in 35 seconds, oh, gee, here's how much cash we have, or here's the value of sales, or whatever. Unfortunately, we're not in that world. We're in the do-it-yourself world, so we understand the process of accounting, okay? But could I transfer this debit amount into the cash account? So in my brain right now, I'm hoping that you all, yeah, I don't want to sing iTunes right now, but that's cool, thank you. I can transfer this $5,000 to the cash account, realizing that's how much money I have right now, right? So after the first, Leonard put $5,000 into the business. Oh, but look, I spent some. Crediting cash means it's going down. I'm spending cash. So I could do 5,000 minus 660. Oh, got to plus it again. Oh, I'm subtracting again, plussing again, subtracting again. I could do that, right, quick, and tell somebody. I could. But what I'm going to do is called post. Posting means transferring information from a journal, here's a journal, to a general ledger. And a general ledger is simply a group of accounts that look like this. So we will have an account form like this for every account that we have in our chart of accounts. So we make a chart of accounts. We open an account for every account we have in our chart of accounts. We journalize transactions. Come on down. We journalize transactions and we post. Posting. Transferring information from a general journal. Here's our general ledger. Transferring that information. So when I'm done with that ledger up there, and we'll do it together here in just a moment, I can say, oh, boss man, you have $3,690. How did I know that? I transferred the information from that journal to the ledger to every account. Oh, I am, Danielle owes me $63. I have $78 in supplies. I have $660 in prepaid insurance, okay? I can't do that quickly, easy by looking here. So transferring, that's what we're going to do. All right? Now, you shortcut wonders, please, please, I beg you, please, put your shortcut away. Please post correctly. There are 5 steps. We shall do them. We shall do them together. So please join me, if you will, on page 59. And then the next few pages, so we're flip-floppy in this book. If you hate flip-floppy, rip them out. I don't care as long as you are not what, Christopher? A loser. Yeah. Don't lose it. I just picked on you because you said you were a loser in my other class. You're not a loser. A loser meaning I lose my stuff. So if you are a person who loses everything, I would suck it up and flip-flop. If you've got a folder and you don't want to flip-flop, you just want to separate them out here, that's okay too. But this isn't horrible. I think there's only 1 page or 2 pages. When we have a bigger general ledger, it's not loads of fun. This is only 2 pages. We can do it. So, we're going to post. We're going to post right now. There's 5 steps. Please do not go, oh, but I can do it so much easier and faster. Please do not do that. Please, I beg you, please. Because you'll be up at my desk going, I don't know. And I'll say, well, did you post this? It doesn't look like you Well, yeah, I posted it. Okay, did you follow the 5 steps? Well, no, because I have a really much better shortcut. No, you don't. Guaranteed, no, you don't. Please, please, please. Please just play with me for a minute. All right? So we're going to go line by line. We're going to go line by line, and we're going to post. So look, here's a transaction on March 1st, 2016. There was a debit to cash. Okay? Please find your cash account, and that's just flipping your page 1. Whoops, I'm not doing it. Here's my cash account. Again, feverishly copying this makes absolute 0 sense. Number 1. So there's 5 steps in posting. Here they are. Number 1, you transfer the date from that general ledger. It was March 1st, 2016. That's number 1. Okay? Number 2, we're going to go right here. Where did you get this information? I'm getting this information from General Journal, page 1. Remember when I had a little fit about the page numbers? This is why. Okay? G1. Why can't I just put a 1? Because it's not always going to be G1. One fine day there's going to be C1, CP1, P1, and S1 along with G1. Okay? So this is answering the question, where did you get this information? Well, I got this information from General Journal, page 1. Then I look and I say, well, is it a debit or credit entry? Okay? So when this was journalized, it was journalized as a debit to cash. So that's what I'm going to put in this little form. So these first 2 columns are for the entry. So this was a $5,000 debit. I'm simply copying it, taking this information and transferring it here. Okay? Then the question is, okay, what's the new balance? Well, there was no balance before, so I had a $5,000 debit. $5,000 debit plus nothing minus nothing. My balance right now is $5,000. That's the 4th step in posting. Let's review. The date. Where did you get this information? Debit or credit entry? New balance. 5th and final step in posting that you will, maybe if you're the shortcut winner, skip because you can do this later. I'm going to take the account number and I'm going to post it here where it says post ref. And what that means is I have posted this line to account number 110. Okay? It's the last step in posting in case you get rolling and something happens in your office and you've got to go somewhere. You know where you left off because, oh, I see I've got a 130 there, but I don't have the 210 here. This must be where I left off. or you went to the bathroom, or you went to get a drink, or your Fitbit said, hey, large butt, move, or whatever, okay? So that's the last step in posting, so I know where I left off. 5 steps in posting. The date. Where did you get this information? G1. Debit or credit entry. New balance. Where did you take this information? Where'd you put it? Where'd you transfer it to? Because if I ever have to go find an error, and you will, okay, we can say, oh crap, if you put a 120 there, I'd go to the next account and say, oh, you accidentally stuck it here. Makes sense, okay? So, we're ready to do the next one already. You're going, oh, bloody hell, this is long. Leonard Witkowski Capital has a $5,000 credit on March 1st. So I'm going to go find this account. By the way, one fine person opened these all for you. So I'm finding this account. Oh, there it is. I'm really careful looking that it's capital and not drawing. I'm saying, okay, number 1, date. Says March 1st, 2016. Number 2, where did I get this information? I got this information from G1. Step 3, is this a debit or credit entry? Well, in my journal up there, it was a $5,000 credit. Again, there was no balance before. 4th step in posting, what's my new balance? $5,000 credit. Last step in posting, I'm going to take my 310 and I'm going to put it back in my journal. Right there, 310. Says I'm done with that. So I go to the next one, prepaid insurance on the 3rd. I find prepaid. 5 steps in posting. I post the date. Where did you get this information? G1. Was it a debit or credit entry? Well, it was a debit entry of $660, which just so happens to be my new balance. Last step in posting. I take account number 140. I put it back in my journal to say, I posted this. Prepaid insurance, I posted $660 debit to account number 140. Okay? Next, we're back to the cash account. Here's one little twist. Again, on the 3rd, I have a credit of $660. I find cash. Here it is. Well, good, I don't have to write March 2016 again, because it's already in our account form, so I don't write it again. In fact, though, I just changed the date. So on the 3rd, got this information from G1. Now, in my debit or credit entry columns, I am posting a credit of $660, because that's what the journal says. Okay? Now, my new balance doesn't become credit, $660. This is a balance column. Almost if you think about a checking account, you know, the very bottom one, which probably if you have a checking account, you don't do anyway because we'll just go with the bank. You keep track of it in your check register, okay, so you know how much cash you have. So I'm going to subtract. Why? Because I have a debit balance and a credit entry. They are not the same. If they're the same, I add them. If they're different, I subtract them. Okay? So I had a debit balance of $5 grand. I have a credit entry of $660. So again, they're different. So I'm going to subtract. $43.40, yes? Yes. That's my balance, but it's a debit balance. Why isn't it a credit balance? Because that debit of $5,000 is bigger than the credit of $660. And, oh, by the way, if an asset ever has a credit balance, that's not right, right? Normal balance side of any asset is our debit side. So if I had a credit balance in cash, that means I'm in the red. That means I bounced something at the bank. That means I have negative cash. It's not possible because we are in a perfect world. All right? We're in a perfect world. Does this line make sense? 4340 is my new balance. Think about it for a minute. Oh, this represents what my owner gave me. So he gave me $5,000. I spent $660. I have $4340 left. That's what it means. Anything in a credit in cash means I am buying something. So the balance of my cash is going down. However, when it's in the debit side, I'm getting money from somewhere. Looking here right now, I can't tell you where from, but I can in that journal, whether it's my people who owe me money from accounts receivable or if I have sales for cash. All right? Last step in posting, 110, goes on that cash account line. Okay? Why can't I just do that at the end? I just do all those at the end. It'll be way faster. Because then you don't know where you left off. Okay? Going to supplies on the 4th. Finding my supplies account. On March 4th, from G1, I have a debit of $78. I bought $78 worth of supplies. So my balance right this very second is $78. Taking account number 130 back to my journal. Okay. Accounts payable, Joshua Supplies. Accounts payable, oh, that's a liability. Somebody I owe money to. Please find Joshua Supplies. On March 4th, from General Journal, page 1, I have a credit of $78. And as I think about that, if I'm crediting a liability, it's going up. So I must owe Joshua Supplies $78. Fifth step in posting, take my 210, stuff it in my general journal. Come on. Right there. Next, back to cash. You will notice cash is used a lot. Okay? I have on the 8th, $675 debit to cash. On the 8th, from General Journal, page 1, debit of $675. I had a debit balance, I have a debit entry. They're the same. Debit balance, debit entry, I shall add them. Of course, I use a calculator to not make any stupid mistakes because we all know it's real easy to do. So my balance in cash right now is $5,000, $5,015. Debit balance, debit entry, I add them. I take my 110 back to cash. Or I'm sorry, back to the journal. Next, sales. I don't have anything in sales, I don't think. On March 8th, from G1, I have a credit of $675. I have a credit of $675 because I'm simply transferring the information from the general journal. It was $675 credit in the journal. I didn't have a balance. The new balance is $675. $410, last step in posting. Seriously. It's going back to my journal. On the 9th, a debit to accounts receivable, Danielle Brasted. So I have a debit. On March 9th from G1, I have a debit of 163, new balance 163. Account number 120. There. Back to sales we go. We have a credit of 163. On the 9th from G1, I have a credit of 163. Well, I had a credit of 675. Whatever should I do? I should add them because they're the same. Credit balance, credit entry, I will add them. I will never subtract in sales. It keeps getting bigger, 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 bigger. So the amount of sales for the year, that's what I'm doing in this account, or for whatever the fiscal period is. Account number 410, back to your journal. Right there. On the 12th, I'm spending some money on rent. Fine, rent. There it is. On the 12th from G1, debit entry 375, debit balance 375. No balance. Plus whatever I've got, that's what it equals. Account number 510 going back. Cash credit, 375. Again, notice cash used a lot. On the 12th, from G1, credit, 375. I had a debit balance. I have a credit entry. I need to subtract debit balance, credit entry. 4640 is my new balance. Account number 110 is going back. AP, Joshua Supplies. Oh, by the way, this is why we write the accounts out, so we can find them in the ledger. So when we just write owner, there's no such account called the owner. Okay. So I'm looking for Joshua Supplies in an accounts payable. I've got a debit of $50 on the 15th. Date. Where did I get this? Debit entry. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I had a credit balance of 78. I have a debit entry of 50. They're not the same. I don't add them. I have a credit balance. I have a debit entry. I subtract them. The credit is still bigger. So the balance goes in the credit side of 28 bucks. What does that tell you? When you look at this account right here, what can you tell your boss about that account? What? I paid some off of what I owe, but I still owe 28 bucks. All right? I used to owe him 78. I paid off 50. I now owe him 28. Why didn't I just pay the whole bloody thing off? I don't know. They want you to practice. All right? So, account number 210. We are getting there, folks. We're getting there. Account number 210, right there. So if I paid somebody, I must have done something with cash. Oh, yes, I did. Down 50 bucks. Back to my cash account on the 15th. There's my credit of $50. Again, it's a credit. I'm subtracting because cash is sitting there with a debit balance. I'm subtracting another 50 bucks. I'm spending money. Account number 110 is going there. Back to cash we go on the 16th. It's a debit this time of 100 bucks. Debit balance, debit entry. I can add those. Debit balance, debit entry. I should add. Account number 110. Looks like I got some money from Danielle, 100 bucks. Find Danielle. On the 16th in G1, credit entry, 100 bucks. I had a debit balance, credit entry, still 63 bucks. Again, in your brain you should say, Danielle, you still owe us $63. Okay? 120. Account number 120. Leonard Buddy took 1,000 bucks. Finding this drawing account on the 25th from G1. $1,000 debit entry, no balance before, it's my new balance. Drawing, ladies and gentlemen, will continue to get bigger and just grow. Because it's not like I'm going to ever have a credit entry in drawing. What would that be? He paid some back. That would be an investment then. Okay? So drawing will just keep growing, growing, growing. And what we're using that for, when he's coming to chew our butt for his cash flow, we're going to say, Leonard, my friend, you keep taking money. Look at your drawing account. Okay? Taking the 320, slam-a-jamming back up there. Last one. Cash, credit, 1,000 bucks. On the 25th, G1, credit cash. There's the new balance of $36.90 at the end of the month of March. So when my boss comes in and says, Gabby, what's the value of my cash? Gabby can say, let me get that cash account, boobity boom, there it is, $36.90. What's my sales to date? Well, let me look at the sales account. Leonard? Oh, it's 838 bucks. Okay. Posting. Transferring information from a general journal into the general ledger account.
Good morning, pardon the interruption, but at this time we need all sophomores to come down for our field trip over to Barron High School. Do not bring your computers. Put your computers in your lockers. Grab your coats, it's cold out. But at this time we need all sophomores to get their coats, put their computers in their lockers, and report to the commons.
Questions about posting? And I know you're going, yeah, we get it. You said it 15,000 times. So, 5 steps in posting are date. Meaning?
The journal one right now.
Where did I get this info? Okay? That's what it means. So yes, I put a G1 or a P1 or whatever the journal is, but the question you're answering is, where did I get this information? So it's post-ref in the ledger account, answering, where did I get this information? What am I transferring third? Debit or credit? T. Entry. Oh, holy crap, let's start again. Hello. Debit or credit entry. Number 4. New balance. Number 5. Post ref, the account number. In journal. Answering the question, where did I take this information? Okay, so where did I take this information? To account number 420, or I'm sorry, 410, 120, 410, 510. That's where I took this information. And since it's the 5th step in posting, I'm done with this line. So when the average Joe accounting person looks at this, they go, oh, this journal is posted. It's all done. But if these 3 or 4 weren't there, I'd say, ooh, I'm going to have to finish those up. Questions about posting? What's the definition of opening an account? What does that mean? Open an account, what do?
You write down the
Title?
the number.
And the account number. That's it. All right? Good enough. I know it's painful, but we're going to do the on your own. Would you please